This is day 24 of Advent of Cyber 2023, and this challenge is called You Are on the Naughty List McGreedy. Detective Frosto continues to piece the evidence together, and Tracy McGreedy is now a suspect. What's more, the detective believes that McGreedy communicated with an accomplice. Smartphones are now an indispensable part of our lives for most of us. We use them to communicate with friends, family members and colleagues, browse the internet, shop online, perform e-banking transactions, and many other things. Among other reasons, it's because smartphones are so intertwined in our activities that they can help exonerate or convict someone of a crime. Frostoix suggests that Tracy's company-owned phone be seized so that Forensic McBlue can analyze it in his lab to collect digital evidence. Because it's company-owned, no complicated legal procedures are required. So, learning objectives. After completing this task, you will learn about procedures for collecting digital evidence, the challenges with modern smartphones, and using autopsy digital forensics with an actual Android image. So, because there's a ton to read in this challenge and it's the last day, I'm just going to skim through all the reading material. So basically, digital forensics is about finding evidence on digital devices. So in this case with an Android device, this would involve going through the storage of the device and to find evidence relating to the activity that is being done. And digital forensics is used throughout legal procedures where digital devices were used during a crime, or maybe it's used to exonerate someone from having done a crime. So continue through. So acquiring a digital forensics image. I'll read this part. So static acquisition. It is a bit-by-bit image of the disk and is created while the device is turned off. Live acquisition is the same thing, but the device is turned on. Logical acquisition is you select the files that you want to copy from the seized devices. And sparse acquisition, you select fragments of unlocated data to copy, and the unlocated areas of the disk might contain deleted data. However, this approach is limited compared to static and live acquisition because it doesn't cover the whole disk. So if we're going to get an image of a computer that is turned off, you would have to take the hard drive or SSD out of it and then connect it into another device to copy it. But to make sure you don't accidentally modify the data that's on it, you'd need to use a write blocker. And that's really important for digital forensics because if you accidentally write to the device, then that is evidence that has been tampered with. So use write blockers to make sure you don't accidentally write to devices. And if the device is already turned on, we should not turn it off because there's also data in RAM which we would also want to collect. So you'd probably collect the live data within RAM about the system, and then I assume that afterwards you would then turn it off to get a copy of the actual hard drive or SSD. So acquiring a smartphone image is a bit different because they're usually encrypted by default, which obviously creates a challenge for digital forensics analysts. So you'd have to try find the decryption key, which isn't always easy. So in smart devices, Android 4.4 introduced full disk encryption, which is everything on the device hard drive is encrypted, and the device would have its own encryption key which it would use for interacting with the hard drive. And then Android 7 introduced file-based encryption. So instead of it just being a whole drive that is encrypted, it will be the individual files encrypted individually. So let's go on to practical case now. So Tracy McGreedy's phone is company property. This means that it was easy for Detective Frosto to seize it and ask Forensic McBlue to use his expertise to carry out the digital forensic investigation. The first thing Forensic McBlue does is put the phone in a Faraday bag. A Faraday bag prevents the phone from receiving any wireless signal, meaning Tracy McGreedy can't wipe its data remotely. Now that McBlue has Tracy McGreedy's Android phone, it's time to get an image. He successfully unlocks the phone using the same password used to lock everyone out of the server room 3 weeks ago. What a coincidence. The main tools McBlue uses for analyzing Android phones are Android Debug Bridge, ADB, and autopsy digital forensics. Once the phone is unlocked and connected to the laptop, creating a backup using ADB backup is relatively easy. Here's the exact commands he uses: ADB backup all and save to file android backup.ab. The main limitations of ADB backup is that some applications don't support this option, as they explicitly disallow backups with the setting allow backup equals false. Furthermore, although this option still works with a limited number of applications, it has been restricted since Android 12, so it's a good idea to rely on more robust alternatives. This backup of various applications is considered a logical image, but Forensic McBlue isn't satisfied. He wants a full raw image of the phone storage. Many commercial products can be used to acquire an image, however most of them rely on the Android Debug Bridge and combine it with other tools such as an exploit to gain root access. Android device won't provide root access to the user unless it's for development purposes. This limits the ability to access many files and directories on the phone storage. Rooting an Android device gives us full access to the device's files, including raw access to the disk. Forensic McBlue prepares a list of potential exploits that would give him read access to the Android device. After a couple of attempts, he's able to get read access. So to confirm, he has read access. He accesses the shell in ADB, types the command TMI and sees it gets root, and he's now able to run the mount command and grep the lines which have data in it, which he gets. As we learned from the commands in terminal above, dev block dm0, the device is dev block dm0. Think of this device as a partition on the smartphone's disk. McBlue wants to get this whole partition and analyze an autopsy. So to get a raw dump, he can use ADB pull. So ADB pull and then save it as an image. The command above will pull the mount and save it to local file. After a few minutes, a 6GB file is created. For this to work, you need root access. So now the only thing that you need to do is run autopsy and open the image in there. So you create a new case in autopsy, you provide a case number and information about the examiner. Then the next thing you do is specify the raw image you're wanting to use. So you could have one or you could have multiple. So you can use disk images, but you can also use other different types of files as well. So you provide the image source into there, and then you can select the bunch of different options as to how you want to ingest the data. Then once you've selected all that, you click next. It is going to start ingesting the image and grabbing all the data you want from it. So for this challenge, we can start up the virtual machine, and then we can have this in split view. So when that starts up, we can continue. Okay, so the machine is now up, so we can open up autopsy. So with autopsy open, we should be able to go open case, and we got Tracy McGreedy here, and there's the AUT file. Okay, and we've now got access to the phone's data, so now it's time to answer questions. So one of the photos contains a flag. What is it? So I assume file views would be a place to go. Maybe by MIME type, image, and that looks like a lot of images. Let's take a look at JPEG. Shall I open it in full screen? Okay, so we've got a bunch of images. Do any of these names stand out? There's serverroom.jpg, that could be interesting. Let's try expand this. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything there. Maybe Santa Residence? Nope. We'll just go through the rest of these images. Okay, we've got this one here. THM Digital Forensics. So THM Digital Forensics. Okay, what name does Tracy use to save Detective Frosto's phone number? So, got contacts here. And Detective Frosto, I don't see it in there. Oh, Detective Carrot Nose. Detective Carrot Nose. And one SMS exchange with Van Sprinkles. So now messages. And you can see the text over here. So there's the password. We'll just manually write that. Chi7AQU. Submit. Okay, so that is the day 24 challenge completed. But let's go on to these as well. Jolly Judgment Day. McGreedy's team has achieved something remarkable. They've meticulously gathered a trove of evidence, enough to confront the elusive McGreedy about his nefarious activities. Now, the moment of truth has arrived. In this gripping conclusion to our adventure, you will assist in presenting the hard-earned evidence before Santa himself, the one who oversees all. Each piece of evidence you help unveil will bring McGreedy closer to facing the consequences of his actions. As you step into this pivotal courtroom showdown, may your wit, courage, and the skills you've honed guide you. Good luck, the quest for justice rests in your hands. Jolly Judgment Day instructions. Pick evidence that matches Santa's 3 questions. You can select up to 3 evidence. You need to achieve a conviction score higher than 100 to win. You will lose the game if Santa loses all patience. So let's view site. Okay, so answer a bunch of questions. The opposition claims you mastermind a revenge plot against the company. What do you say to this? Information from chatbot. Maybe notes and computer, I think was. So only chatbot info. Purple snow. Opposition claims you have been using old hacker. So that's forum post. I think notes and computer had hacker name. Okay, both of those are good. They use jingle hacks. And what is the hacker handle of Readster? So extensive investigation. USB incident has uncovered a trail. So dropped USB, which had a crypto miner on it. Or was it malware sample? I don't know, we'll do both, or all 3. So just dropped USB for that. McGreedy Secret C2. So claims being framed, your technical skills and describe you as being capable. So server takeover and maybe crypto miner. So any server takeover feels good. Let's just greedy grabber. So we'll select these three for command and control. All excellent. Username McGreedy, McGreedy secret C2, and stash. And then the evidence for compelling, circumstantial. Doesn't conclusively link McGreedy to the allegations. The only thing we have left is the phone. So we'll submit that. And that is excellent. Was to round sprinkles. Okay, so we've now passed that. THM, you meddling kids. Okay, so that is that part done. So let's take a look at what this one is now. Okay, so there doesn't really seem to be anything else left for this. Well, anyway, that is the advent of Cyber 2023 completed. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.